Hi everyone, it's Nick with Build Up Advisory Group, and it's Fast Forward Fridays, a web series where we will quickly build what you know about infrastructure design in the nonprofit sector. Today's Fast Forward topic is how to have a successful strategic planning process. If you're in the nonprofit sector, you've probably heard about strategic planning, and you probably also have gone through a strategic planning process yourself. Has that process improved the way you or your organization worked? Or are you gearing up for your next strategic planning process, having just completed your last one 2 years ago? From my conversations with different organizations over the years, I know that the success of strategic planning, no matter how thoughtfully entered into, all depends on one thing: infrastructure. Seriously, with the work I do, I come in to ensure that capacity, oversight, and structure are where they should be. And when they aren't, I've noticed that's when the strategic plan stumbles or falls down. So, what would I recommend to ensure success with strategic planning? For starters, your plan should create a compelling vision and mission. We've talked about that in many Fast Forward Fridays. A compelling vision and mission should be at the core of any strategy. So, that component, in my opinion, is a barrier to entry. If your plan doesn't create a compelling vision and mission, you're not engaged in strategic planning. Still, a compelling vision and mission alone cannot and do not make a strategic plan successful. It comes down to implementation. If you can't implement that plan, it doesn't matter how amazing it is, it's not going to get done. We're on the same page now, right? So, how can you ensure success in implementation? Two key elements: people and systems. Both have to be considered as part of the strategic planning process. Let's start with systems. Systems essentially focus on how things will get done and who will do them. In order to ensure consistent results, we need to understand the organizational systems at play within each element of the strategic plan. And systems also include policies and whether they need to be created or revised, as well as technology and software. How are we including those things into our work and operations to provide leverage and ensure that the strategy is successfully implemented? You should also consider the systems needed to ensure that the organization can engage in its work and be legally and operationally compliant. A plan that isn't considering this key infrastructure element is jeopardizing its organization's strategic goals. The other infrastructure element that has to be included is, of course, people. We have to ensure that people have the resources and support they need to perform their responsibilities within the organization, particularly as they relate to the plan. If they aren't properly trained, for example, the organization and the plan will struggle. So the plan must identify people needs. And we have to understand that people are also doing more than the work. They're also providing accountability, which is so integral to experimentation and innovation, to ensure that the plan is implemented as intended. Evaluating progress against the plan and identifying when the organization or teams are tracking well or are off track are part of this accountability. So having someone who's primarily responsible for implementing the plan overall is critical. And the plan should also consider the roles of your board members and the kind and amount of organizational oversight needed to ensure that implementation of the strategic plan is successful. The people element is critical and should be detailed in the plan. I've seen many organizations go to great lengths to have their strategic plans nicely bound and laminated, incredibly designed, and then literally put on the shelf. We want to use these two key infrastructure elements to bring these plans to life, take them off the shelves, put them in conversations with people, and have them considered within the practices and operations of the organization. Only then can we ensure that we're implementing compelling strategy that can strengthen our impact. And that's our fast build. I want to hear how you are thinking about strategic plans. I would love to hear from you and about your experience in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend and keep building bravely.